Shout out to the Only Logical channel, a YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to, which is the channel that exposes the divestor behavior amongst these black queens, which is a hard pill for pro-black Negro males to swallow. But reality is reality. Now, in this particular video, he highlighted a divestor that hit the travel space, where you had this Negro who met this Kenyan woman, had a baby with her, only for her to go run off with a white man in America. And what makes this extra comical, one of the main promoters of Kenya, of being this black-loving country where Negro males are the first choice, a guy by the name of Kid Greatness, he was featured interviewing these people who ended up being a calamity of divestorism. And this situation also gives me the opportunity to highlight another situation that took place years ago in Kenya, where a man by the name of Mike Oliver, a Frenchman, who was able to have sex with well over 50 women in 3 months, and half of those women were married to Kenyan men. And this Frenchman was HIV positive, by the way, and he was quoted in saying that, quote, "I just showed them $1," and adding that Kenyan women love money and the thrill of being with white men. So this is your Wakanda heaven that certain passport bros are trying to promote as this Wakanda safe haven. But the reality is, just like with Negro women in America, all of these chicks ultimately want to be with the man that they claim to hate so much, which is the white man. But they play the pro-black game because they know it gets a lot of airhead Negro males to endlessly support them, always try to prove themselves to them as, well, I love black women, I love black women. Meanwhile, the feeling isn't mutual. And it just further highlights how low IQ the community is in general. And again, like, just imagine this dude, he traveled all the way from America to Kenya to get played by some mid to ugly looking chick who just used him to sucker him for some citizenship so she can then go to America to be with an older white man, by the way, leaving him with the baby and leaving the internet with records of his cucking because they had a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called US Meets Kenya. And I looked it up, and obviously the videos of them together are no longer there, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere in the ether. And, it's a pure tragic comedy, but it's a comedy nonetheless. And exposes not only that Kenya hustle that certain YouTubers got going on, but it also further exposes this black love hustle that we're constantly hearing about. And again, it's not like this dude, by the looks of him, fits any sort of, A-list movie star kind of appearance. I mean, more often than not, these chicks will even risk exposing themselves to HIV. And apparently he also knocked up a couple of these chicks, got them pregnant. But yeah, they're willing to risk their bodies to let a dude that looked like him go raw in them, only to find out later that he has HIV. They're willing to risk all that just so they can say they had a white man. Or, a bigger prize, Get a baby with some good hair. Since clearly that's what these queens are obsessed with, by evidence of, the fake hair that they put in their hair all the time. From America to Africa, they all love that hat hair, which mirrors the hair of the so-called white woman. Like, you can't make it up, man. You can't make it up. And there's plenty of stories like this that you can find on YouTube channels like Only Logical. But there's plenty of stories like this that you can just find on the internet any given day. Especially when you have those frequent gender war battles that goes on between the queens and the kings. Like, they're confessing themselves, admitting themselves their racial preference. But then, as we know, when a Negro male gets with someone of another so-called race, they make it into a big deal. And it's not just the women that make it into a big deal. There's the pro-black male simps that make it into a big deal as well. Because they're still led by these bonquishes, despite their habit of, trying to divest. But anyway, if you want to hear more about the story, you can look up this channel. If you want to look up more about the Mike Oliver channel, you can just Google search Mike Oliver Kenya, and there's plenty of it. He was kind of bragging about the situation, like how easy it was for him. He had a bunch of pictures. I think that's how the story initially got big. He showed a bunch of photos of women he stated that he had sex with and how easy it was. And the other funny thing about it, when I see certain YouTubers trying to promote Kenya as this Wakanda heaven. Not too long ago, I did a video about how a bunch of pro-black Hebrew Israelites went to Kenya and tried to talk about black Jesus, and they almost got stoned to death. Oh, man. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this.